Welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at drawing the 3D model of this example using SolidWorks. Now before, in one of my other examples or things that I've done, sometimes I'll use the extrude command and then sometimes I'll use the hole command. So I'm trying to give you a variety of two different ways of how to create things. In this example we're going to take a look at the hole command as we create these, and obviously we're not going to make all of these circles. We're going to use the circular pattern command to get all of these done, but in this video we will be taking a good look at how to use the hole command using SolidWorks. Okay, so here in SolidWorks I'm just going to select part. Now the units for this part is going to be metric. So I will make sure or verify that I do have metric down at the bottom. And you can see already as it's loading up, here at the bottom I see the mmgs, which is the millimeters, grams, and seconds. So that stuff is already loaded for us. Let's go ahead and give it a couple of more seconds here and then we'll get started. Okay, and so once it's loaded, I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of features, and then I will show you another shortcut that you can use. You can see right now that I'm underneath just the basic modeling tools, and this kind of has both of them combined, but it does have some other stuff that is left out of here, and there is a way where you can kind of bring those up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up some traditional tabs that you tend to see in other versions of SolidWorks. The way you can do that is just do a right click here at the top, then we'll go to tabs, and then I'm just going to put a check next to both of these where it says features and sketch. Let's go ahead and click off of that, and now I should have these two tabs. This is going to be your traditional sketch, is what you tend to see in other versions of SolidWorks, as well as the features. And in here you can see that now you get the hole command and you get a few more things to pop up, right? Some of those commands are not showing up in here, but you can add them as well. So we can customize and we can add buttons and things of that nature to this one, because this is a nice clean look and it'll stop you from jumping between tabs. But if you're used to another way of using it, by all means you can still use these two categories here at the bottom. Okay, let's go ahead and create our sketch. Now another thing that I'm going to go ahead and do in here is when I create my sketch, I'm going to kind of create two sketches into one, and then I'm going to use that other sketch once it's located underneath the feature. So that's going to be my goal here that I'm going to attempt to do. Alright, let's get back to the basic modeling tools here, and I'm just going to hit the sketch button. And as always, it's going to go ahead and pop up with what do we want to, or how we want to create it, or what plane we want to create it on. So I'll go ahead and select this front plane here. And this is going to be super duper simple for us. All we have to do is go ahead and create a circle. Alright, and you can see right now that I'm underneath the sketch one. And this one is just going to be a regular circle with a center point and the radius part of it. So I'm just going to go here and here. Let's go ahead and escape out of this command. Then we're going to put a dimension on. So we'll go with the smart dimension. We'll place this dimension onto here. And let's see if I can get it to go up here at the top. And then the dimension here is going to be set to 120. Okay. So now we have our main, I guess, part of this one. And I'm just going to go ahead and place some of my other parts that I have. Now, another reason why I loaded this sketch tab here is because I wanted to use the point, right? If we go back and we look at the basic modeling tools, we don't have that point located here, or at least I can't find it without having to add it on to the end, right? But underneath the sketch tab here, you do get a little bit more stuff. So point is another one that we're going to add. Now, I don't need to add a point, and what I'm doing with these points is that it's automatically setting up to say, hey, you're going to be attaching something to that, whether it's a hole or something of that nature. So that's what I'm going to use that point for. But I'm just going to go ahead and throw 3 more circles on here. So I'm just going to go a circle here. I'm going to go from that center point out to here. I'll do another circle, once again from that center point out to here. And then finally one last circle here, going out to here. Let's go ahead and put 3 dimensions on them. Let's go to smart dimensioning here. We have a dimension of this one. Go ahead and place this one, and it has a diameter of 100, right? So I'll go ahead and type that in now. Then we're going to go ahead and put another circle or diameter on this circle. And I'm kind of separating these on purpose. And this one is going to have your diameter of 70. All right, and then we finally have one more that's right here on the inside here. And let's go ahead and place that dimension. And it should have a diameter of 40, right? So I'll go ahead and type in 40, the enter button. All right, so I have a multitude of circles happening here. Now, I only want SolidWorks to pay attention, and I'll hit escape to get out of the dimensioning command. I only want SolidWorks to pay attention to one of these circles, right? The rest of these are more or less references in order to create those other circles around. So what I'm going to do is I'll select this circle, hold down the shift button, and select this circle here as well as this one, right? I'm just going to kind of hover for a second. Now, once I get this option to show up, I'm just going to make all of those construction and watch what happens. You can see that SolidWorks says, hey, okay, those are not included in anything, but I'm just going to only take a look at this outside one. Let's go ahead and add a few more points here. So I'm just going to go to points. I'll go ahead and place the first one on that one. Place the next one on this one. And then finally, one more point placed onto here. Let's escape out of here. Now I'm just going to select that point, hold down the shift button, and then I'm just going to select this point, and then I'm going to select one more point here, which is going to be the actual origin. I'll select that point, let go of the shift button, and then underneath my relations, I'm just going to say, hey, make all of those horizontal to each other, and you can see that they all snap down in a horizontal. Okay, so this is all the stuff that I'm going to need to create this model. Let's go ahead and finish or exit this sketch. All right, so once we've exited the sketch, let's go ahead and go to the features, right? So I'm just going to jump over to the features tab, or if you're on the basic modeling one here, you can do this one. And another option that you have, so if I'm still in this window, you can hit the S button on your keyboard, and then it's going to bring up in this quick menu, right? So here's another way where you can jump around to some different things based on where you are in SolidWorks. It sees that I don't have a sketch right now, but I can create some of these other things. So it's asking me, hey, do you want to extrude, revolve, sweep, loft, or other things that we can do? All right. So in our case, we're just going to do an extruded boss, right? Once I do that, it should activate the command for us, and you should see it over here in the browser. All right. So now it picked. What do we want to do with it, right? Now, before, I usually select the midplane. In this case, I know that I'm going to have my holes going on one surface, right? So therefore, I'm just going to extrude this one, and I'm rotating this around. You can see the sketch on the top part here. I'm going to extrude it going downward that direction. And then the height or the distance of this one is going to be set to 10. All right, let's go ahead and OK this. Once that is done, let's go ahead and rotate around onto here, right? And you can see clearly that I do have my sketch and it's still activated. Now, once I do a left click here, that sketch disappears. That sketch is still part of this drawing, right? And it's located underneath this boss here. So I'm just going to expand here, and then that's the sketch I see. I'll go ahead and right click on this sketch. And then I'm going to select this eye. That just tells it that, hey, I want to show that sketch. All right. So now that sketch is brought back enough to where I can see it. You can see that I have some center points and other things here. I have the center point here and those 3 points that I created. All right, now let's start creating the hole command. All right, once again, you can use the S button on your keyboard, and then that should bring up some of the common commands that you have, right? And the one that I want to use is the hole command. If you can't get that to show up underneath that S button there, you can also go to features, and it's going to be located here. All right, so we're going to go to the hole wizard. All right, we're going to give it a second to load up over here. And once this loads up, you got to kind of step through this. All right, so we're going to kind of walk our way downward. So we underneath the type. What type of hole do I want to create? Well, I want to create a simple one. So I'm going to select here first, right? So that satisfies everything I need in that first box here. Next, is it a standard size or is it in inches, right? So which one do you want to use? Well, in our case, it's going to be a metric. So I'm just going to use the ANSI metric. All right. And then it's going to say, hey, what do you want it as, a drill size or any of these other ones? And we're just going to say, hey, just make it a drill size. Here at the bottom are some common sizes that we can select through. If it's something that's kind of unique, you can always select this button here and you can type in what size you want it to be, right? So I can go ahead and put in something like 9.5 or something of that nature. Now, luckily for us, the hole that we're going to put here in the middle has a common size. So I'm just going to select here in the drop down, and I'll come down and find 20. Okay, so now I already specified the hole size. Let's go down just a little bit more. We need to tell it the condition. We're going to send that hole through all. And then do we want a countersink on both sides or on either side of it? And in our case, it's going to be none. So if I check this box, it's going to ask me, you know, basic chamfering dimensions that I want to put on it, or a countersink, right? And then countersink is nothing more than just kind of putting a chamfer on it. Okay. And I think this kind of satisfies everything that we need here. Here's some tolerancing and other things that we can do. Next, we got to go to position. Okay, so underneath the position here, do you want to use an existing sketch that you have, or do you want to create a sketch? Well, in our case, we're just going to use the face that we already have. So I'm just going to select this face here. And once I select that face, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that center point. Once I select that, you'll see that that hole is already sitting there. Now it's asking me to, hey, go ahead and select any other points. Well, in this case, I only have one hole that is set to 20. So at this point, I'm just going to hit the check button. And then you're going to see that that hole is indeed created on our part, right? Next, let's go ahead and add those other holes. So instead of going back up to here, remember that you can always use the S button, and that's going to bring you up into the common, or what you can do at this point, basically. So these are some of the commonly used ones. Or you can search for a command here at the bottom. So I'm just going to go back to the hole wizard, and it should pop up with that same dialog box that we just walked through. Okay, and we're going to start off at the top. Now it's going to remember the last holes that you set up. So therefore, it's saying, hey, you want to create a simple hole that is metric drill size. In our case now, that drill size is no longer 20. It's going to be set to 10. So we're going to set that equal to 10. We don't need any custom sizing to it because 10 is a common number there. We're going to send it through all. There is no countersinks on it. We're going to step to the positioning. From here, we're going to select the face that we want to place that circle on, which is going to be here. And then we're going to select the position of them. Now you notice that we got those points there. So I'll select that point there, do a left click on that point, and a left click on that one, right? Now if I had all of the other points, yes, I can indeed just keep selecting them. Let's go ahead and hit the OK button here, and it should drill those holes into there. Perfect. All right. Now we can go ahead and hide that sketch that we created, right? So this sketch is no longer needed. I'm just going to do a right click on it, and then I'm just going to hide it. All right, the last step that I need to do here is do some kind of pattern to create these, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at the circular pattern command. All right, once the dialog box appears, it's saying right now, whatever is blue is what it's asking me for. It's saying, give me the feature in the faces that you want to do. I'm just going to expand my part here. And then the feature that I want is just going to be these holes here. So once I select that, it says, hey, I got it. Next, I need to give it a direction. What do I want it to spin around? So I'm just going to select here, and it activates it as blue. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select inside of this kind of cylinder shape here. Once I do that, it should be able to figure out, hey, you want to use that axis. And that is exactly what I want to do. Here's some previewing and then some other things that I can do. All right, so all of my features and everything is satisfied. I do have 6 of them going equal spaces, and you can see that here, here, and as well as here. All right, so once that is all done and satisfied, go ahead and hit the check button. And then we're just going to select the space bar here, and then I'm just going to kind of rotate it around in an isometric view. For some strange reason, it's kind of not wanting me to select that corner, and there we go. All right, so there's an isometric of it. Hopefully this was, simple and easy to understand as you kind of progress your journey through SolidWorks. We're kind of adding on a few more commands as we kind of go through this. So we're taking a look at the hole command. We're taking a look at doing some extrusions, and we're also taking a look at showing some sketches if you do have some stuff all included into that one sketch, right? So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and as always, keep drafting, and I'll see you in the next video.